Hello my creative critters and welcome to Sketching with Sarah. I'm Sarah and today I'm creating a little mixed media drawing in my sketchbook with watercolor pencil, colored pencil, and Jazza's favorite brush pen. What am I drawing? Well, one of you suggested that I cross a fox and a ferret, and that is what I am doing today. I will also be sharing some cool facts that I learned about both foxes and ferrets because you all seem to like my Fun Fact Friday type videos about animals, and I really enjoy making them, so maybe while watching me draw this ferret fox or Ferrox or foxeret, whatever you want to call this animal hybrid, fluffball, maybe you'll learn something new about ferrets or foxes too. So I started this drawing just for fun and started sketching it with watercolor pencil, and originally I wasn't planning to make a video and film the process and just post it on Instagram or keep it to myself, but I was really loving how this sketch was coming along and I decided to start filming the process after sketching it to share it with you guys. I do this mixed media style work a lot and I have a whole playlist here of my mixed media process if you're interested to see more. Also, a total side tangent here, but I started drawing this ferret fox while playing League of Legends, and if you aren't familiar with League of Legends at all, basically it's a PC game where you go into a queue where the Riot Games gods choose your fate and match you up with a team to play with. Since I like to play the support role a lot, queue times aren't super long, but for me sometimes they get up to like 5 minutes or more randomly, and it's these times that I would pick up my sketchbook and do a little sketch, and then the game would start and I would put the sketchbook down and then pick it up again during the next game's queue. It's kind of a more laid back sketching session for me because there's no pressure for me to get like a good drawing down because I only have 1 to 2 minutes sometimes. Also, I won't lie, sometimes I need to use drawing to cope and kind of de-stress because some games are just, I won't get into it. I could rant about League of Legends, but that's not why you clicked on this video. The reason I brought all that up, I guess, is that my filming setup is my desk where I have my computer to game, so that's another reason I didn't film the sketching part, other than I just wasn't planning to begin with. If you guys are interested to see me create an animal hybrid from start to finish, let me know too. I'd be happy to create one the whole way through with you. Just let me know in the comments. Not only was I not planning to film this drawing, but I also just couldn't because to make this my filming setup, I would have to move my keyboard and my mouse and bring in my lights and all that fun stuff. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but a little secret behind the scenes is that I actually use the keyboard drawer of my desk to film any of my drawing on, which, side note, if you want a little studio tour of my Frankenstein setup, let me know in the comments too. I'd be happy to show you guys around. Anyway, tangent over. Now I just wanted to talk about designing this ferret-fox hybrid. I found a photo on Pinterest of a ferret in the most ferret-like pose I've ever seen. I had 2 ferrets growing up and let me tell you, they sleep and hang out in the most contorted, weird poses sometimes. So I thought this pose was very, very ferret. Then I added a fox face and tail to create a ferret-fox hybrid guy hanging out here in my sketchbook. I feel like it ended up looking more like a fox than a ferret by the end, especially with the coloring ending up being more fox-like, but I think he's still pretty cute and you can kind of see those ferret elements still in the end. So while I softened up the watercolor pencil with my water brush pen, let's talk about foxes. Something cool that you may not know about foxes is that they are way more like cats than dogs. For example, similarly to cats, foxes are nocturnal, and due to having vertically slanted pupils, their visibility in dim light is really increased. Foxes also climb trees, use their whiskers to navigate, and even stalk their prey like cats do. There's also a type of fox called the gray fox that can actually retract their claws just like cats can. For this drawing, I'm referencing photos of a red fox, but when I learned about gray foxes and the similarities about their retractable claws, I just thought that was so interesting. Gray foxes also more closely resemble cats in their faces, while red foxes have similar appearance to dogs with that more elongated snout. It's also weird that male foxes are actually called dogs, while female foxes are called vixens. Foxes even walk around just like cats do, using the balls of their feet to move around silently and smoothly. You can find foxes living in underground dens, and a family of foxes is also known as a skulk or leash of foxes. What is up with groups of animals having weird names? I mean, in my Bippo or Beaver Hippo video a couple weeks ago, I shared that a group of hippos is sometimes called a bloat, and now a skulk of foxes. I've never heard the word skulk before. It's even hard to say, and it's such a weird word to say. It feels like a weird, sharp air gulp or something. I just don't like it. It's also strange that a baby fox is called a pup. Like, baby dogs are called pups too. If they have more in common with cats, wouldn't it make more sense to call the baby foxes cubs? But you know, what do I know? Also, any information that I share in any of my videos, I always link the sources that I use for the info in my description, so you can do your own research and go down your own animal learning rabbit hole like I find myself in all the time. So by now, I softened my whole watercolor sketch and let it dry, and then I started to move in with some watercolor pencil to add some texture and tighten some details in the face and the rest of the body and the fur. I used a combination of a lot of oranges, purples, browns, and I really started to layer in the colors into the drawing. Another thing that I wanted to share about foxes is that they make a ton of different sounds. Up to 40 to be exact. The more noticeable is their scream-like howl, and I'll have a link to a video of that sound in the description, and it's pretty chilling. The most common noises that foxes make is called geckering, and it's a series of guttural chattering, and they make this sound a lot, especially when fighting or arguing or any kind of conflict. Foxes are really territorial and make all kinds of sounds to defend their home. I also linked a video of Precious Juniper the fox from Instagram, so you can hear a variety of sounds that foxes can make. I was watching that video and my dog was sleeping at my foot, and she actually woke up and did that cute like head tilt thing that dogs do. It was just too perfect. I just love her so much. Anyway, foxes make weird sounds, but they can also hear really weirdly well. It has been reported that a red fox can hear a watch ticking from 40 miles away, and this amazing sense of hearing is important to help them identify prey underground. I'll have a link to a video in my description of a fox catching a mouse 3 feet under the snow, just blindly and strictly using its hearing, and one other thing. I think the most interesting thing that I learned about foxes is that they're able to use the Earth's magnetic field to locate their prey. With their sensitive hearing and their ability to sense direction, they can be some really calculated predators, and it's just really amazing to me. Foxes are also really playful, and I know for a fact that another animal that is super playful is a ferret. I've had 2 ferrets when I was a kid, and they needed constant playtime and exercise, and they were just so playful all the time when they weren't sleeping, and they slept a lot. So this is where I'm going to start talking about ferrets. I've gotten a comment a couple times of people interested to learn more about ferrets, and I might do a dedicated video just about ferrets, but here are a few fun things that I learned about them for this video. First of all, ferrets have been domesticated for a really long time. I mean like BCE times. It's really unclear when exactly ferrets first started being domesticated, but there have been Greek scholar Aristophanes in 450 BCE and Aristotle in 350 BCE writing about a ferret-like animal. Some think that ancient Egyptians even kept ferrets as pets, but the absence of ferret bones in tombs makes that a little less likely. But it's also a complete possibility that ferrets were exclusively a lower class pet, which would explain the lack of documentation and the ferret bones in tombstones, for example. In the late 15th century, Leonardo da Vinci himself painted, and I looked up how to say it, Cecilia Gaiarani, and in this painting she is holding a weasel-like creature, and many scholars believe that it's a ferret. I mean, it looks like a ferret to me. In Animal Crossing, the Switch video game that I play all the time, even the fake painting that Red tries to scam you with of this painting looks like a sable ferret, which is a type of ferret. It has a mask-like pattern on their or around their eyes. And I had this type of ferret as one of my ferrets as a kid, and Animal Crossing doesn't lie about its animals, and I mean, it's the name of the game. Oh my gosh, if you think about it, am I Animal Crossing right now with a fox and a ferret? Am I an Animal Crosser? I love it. Anyway, ferrets are just domesticated polecats. There are European polecats and the American polecat or black-footed ferret. The black-footed ferrets feast on unsuspecting prairie dogs. Scientists discovered in South Dakota 91% of black-footed ferrets' diet consists of prairie dogs. The Black Death Plague wipes out whole colonies of black-tailed prairie dogs, and that's a real issue for the endangered black-footed ferret since they are so picky, and without their favorite food, they don't survive. They are such divas. Luckily, researchers have found a vaccine that could help to keep them healthy, but testing is still happening, and the article that I found on this is from like 2017, and I haven't researched super deep into it and the status now. But if you guys are interested in prairie dogs, let me know and I can do a whole video if you want it. Another interesting and kind of silly thing that I learned is that apparently there were scammers in 2013 who gave ferrets steroids and new haircuts before passing them off as tiny purebred toy poodles to Argentinians. Now that is a bizarre headline. I tried to find a photo of a steroided ferret because curiosity, obviously, and there was only one photo that really popped up, and I guess if you squint really hard it could maybe resemble a fluffy dog, but I still just see a really fat ferret. Last but not least, today we talked about a group of fox being called a leash or a skulk of foxes. Well, guess what a group of ferrets is called? Ladies and gentlemen, a group of ferrets is called a business. That is all. So now I'm playing around with Jazza's favorite brush pen that came with his Spectrum Noir collaboration for his Pro Artist Series box that I got my hands on. I actually made a video unboxing and playing around with everything in that box, and I drew my ferreel critter, which is a ferret eel character hybrid guy, and he's kind of my channel logo. So I drew him playing around with the markers. So check out that video if you haven't already. I've never really used alcohol markers before, so that was an experience. I'm still not sure if I like markers, but it was fun to play around with, and I'm excited to use them more and get the hang of them. But yeah, I am obsessed with this brush pen, and I had a lot of fun making all those little baby, fine little itsy bitsy thin lines for the hair, and little wisps of fur here and there on this drawing, but also being able to get those thick, juicy lines too. It's just so fun to use and really satisfying. And I could use this pen all day and not get bored. It's just that satisfying. By the way, if you're interested or curious in any of the supplies that I use in any of my videos, I always have links for them in my description if you want to try them out for yourself. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this fun little mixed media drawing in my sketchbook of a ferret-fox hybrid. If you did like this video, don't forget to leave it a like and subscribe for more art and animal related content. I upload a new video here every Friday, and I would love for you to become a creative critter with me and follow along on my YouTube journey. I do want to take a second and say thank you guys so much for helping me reach 250 subscribers. We are now officially halfway to being monetized. So I'm very excited, and I can't wait to bring you guys along for what this channel holds in the future. So I just wanted to give a quick thank you to everyone who subscribes and comments on my videos, and just anyone in general who supports my channel. If you made it this far, let me know any other animals you want me to talk about or animal hybrid ideas that you want me to design, and I might make a video from your comment just like I did with this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, stay creative, and I'll see you in next Friday's video. In the late 15th century, Leonardo DiCaprio, oh my god, I almost said DiCaprio. Cecilia